Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's go ahead and continue.
That your intelligence stands up for you?
We are not really satisfied by the government's administration. I think most of us will agree with this. And so, for example, speaking of Chennai city, it has got a very beautiful landscape, but the city's sewage system and the waste management system, it's a problem. It's an issue that has to be addressed. It's the responsibility of the government to frame a system that works well. So it's our responsibility now when we become the future leaders. So what should we do that the present leaders lack, and how can we improve from them, and how can we be better leaders?
Whew, if I were to be asked this question, what would I say? Holy crap. Only because I know even us over here, we complain about like certain things, not even say the government, even just like stores and stuff, and even local governments, not even speaking to the federal government, the government that's over the country. And even looking at just local stores alone, a lot of people complain, it's like, oh yeah, they're making money and they're not even providing good services. It's like, well, there's a lot that goes into a store, and there's a lot of things that we don't know about, like a whole bunch of back end stuff. We only see the front end of things. Like when you go to a store, you see their products, you see how messy or clean their place is, how good or bad their employees are. But there's a lot more that goes on in a store than just what you see in the front end. Kind of like with her, you know, he's like, oh, the government's not doing anything. The government's bad. The people in the government are terrible. Kind of. I don't know if she's necessarily saying that, but that's kind of very similar in a lot of places. And my only issue is I just wish it's kind of difficult to show people how difficult certain things. I'm not saying it's difficult that our government's having a difficult time or anything like that. I'm just saying that generally speaking, people who work in jobs know how hard it is to do certain things to make it a nice experience, but you can't do anything about it. And then the guests are just complaining at you because she's like, you know what, I have to handle these guests or your customers, and there's nothing you can really do about it. Sort of complaining at you, telling you everything that they can do to improve upon the city's like, yeah, I know, I know, but I can't do anything about it. And then you are sitting here, it's like, you know what? These are the things that could improve, but you don't know what the higher ups are doing. You know, like the guests talking to you and complaining to you. All you can do is just sit there and take it and say, yeah, we'll put that in the suggestion box. You know, they don't know what's going on, what you are capable of, or what you tried, or anything like that. That's just to say that I guess, people can understand how to say, people higher up. Because it's not as simple as, oh yeah, that suggestion looks great, let's enact it now. There's a lot of red tape, especially in government jobs. I'm not giving an excuse to the government, but it's very true. You can't just make a suggestion on something and it will just happen immediately. But she's absolutely right in terms of that. You know, if you've been asking for a while, the government does need to step up. But again, we don't see what all the red tapes are. We don't see what all the budget is. We don't know how much is allocated to certain things. That's kind of the problems, that they're not very transparent in terms of their spending and stuff. So it goes both ways, really. I hope I came out clear.
Oh, I thought you asking me a politically loaded question, but you softened it up very nicely.
Oh, and what would I suggest to her? It's like that's what I'd say. Get into politics, really learn into it, and it makes me wonder if people who genuinely I think about this, people who want to be cops, generally speaking, they want to help and they want to do good, but then they look at all the red tapes. It's like, you know, they want to help people, but they can't because it's against. They can't do it because of laws and different things. Or they were able to, but now because of one bad cop or two bad cops, all of a sudden they can't do that, And then whenever people ask for help, the cops are like, "There's nothing I can do," and you're just like, "Look at this. What kind of cop are you? You're supposed to be doing this." And it's like, I really can't. I can't do that. I'll get fired for it. They can't really say that. All they can say is they can't do it, and you're like, "Why can't you do it?" So you have to you have to get into politics. There's a lot of red tape. You have to understand what's going on, and if you can run it better, oh, good luck. But I mean, hey, I kind of wish anyone who get into politics who really genuinely want to help the best of luck. Politics is really garbage, but I guess that's just how it happens. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to be playing with words, but fundamentally we must understand that in many ways, we only get the leaders we deserve. This may be hard to digest, but that's the fact. I'm asking a simple question. How many of you ride a motorcycle or drive a car or something? Hello? Okay. Now, I'll tell you, in Chennai city and in almost every Indian city, if there is no policeman standing there, 90% of the people will not stop at the red light. These are all essentially lawbreakers. If you make them into chief ministers or prime ministers or any kind of ministers, what do you think they will do? I'm just seeing, in Coimbatore city, usually I come and land late in the night at the airport and I'm driving back at 9:30, 10, whatever, still there is traffic. Not at 2 a.m., I'm saying. At 9 o'clock, 9:30, police have gone. At red lamp, I stop and somebody behind me honks badly. I don't understand why. Then that guy comes to the window and says like this, "What's your problem? There's no policeman, why are you stopped?" Well, there is a red light. But unfortunately, we are still in the hangover of pre-independence era, that we still think this is somebody else's country. We don't understand this is our country. Hello? Is this our country? If this is our country, how do we want our country? We must decide, isn't it? Do we want a law-abiding nation or do we want a lawless nation? We must decide we want a law-abiding nation. Why law? See, it feels like a revolution when you run through the red light. Thrill. Feels like a revolution where there is no entry and you boom, you went through and you passed through. Everybody screamed at you but you went off, boom. Feels like a revolution. But if everybody in the town does the revolution, we will pick you up at the morgue. Yes? Yes or no? Only you are breaking the law, it looks like a revolution. If all of us break it tomorrow morning, you know what will happen?
Big old crash.
So, this maturity is yet to sink into the nation. We still not owning this country as ours. We're always pointing fingers at somebody. Yes, those who are in the administration are supposed to do their jobs, I'm not saying no, but who put them in that place? We put them in the place and we never asked a question. We never asked a question. So people who get elected know generally, they're a bunch of idiots, they just put vote. After that, you don't have to bother about them. We are not showing that we are responsible citizens, that we want our country in a particular way and we will follow these things. That is not there yet, we need to build that. The younger generation needs to bring that forth, that we have a certain regard and love for our nation and we want to live in a wonderful country. Everybody wants to escape to another country. Why? Because you messed up this nation and you want to go somewhere else and mess it up too? No. There is a certain pride in building our nation the way we want it, isn't it? Rather than running away to a country which is already been done well by somebody else, are we not ashamed? I'm not saying you should not go abroad, but I'm saying you should not be running away from this country. If you have something to learn, if you have something to contribute, you have something to do, you go to another country, that's not the problem. But you should not be running away from India, isn't it? You should not be running away from India because that means you're a shameless person. You mess up everything here and you go there.
Sad truth of the matter is, that's kind of true in my birth country. It's not to say they're running away, but there's just no opportunities. Like I know some of my family that moved to Canada, almost their entire family. My aunt's particular family move almost everyone to Canada. At least they're trying to, just because of opportunity, but they want to retire back home. Then a few of my aunts, including a few of my cousins, they're just looking for jobs abroad. Again, it's not that they don't like their country, it's just there's no opportunities. It's a really poor country, and I guess I'm kind of lucky. My father wanted me to come to America for opportunity, even though we built a I think we could have lived comfortably with just what we had over there, but I know there's just more opportunities over here, and it kind of sucks. I mean, I hope, but the thing is though, my country is growing. My birth country, let me put it that way. I'm a two-country kind of person. But yeah, my birth country is growing. Last time I visited, it's getting up there. I will say about the traffic light though. We have traffic light, don't work though. We don't even have a red light. You just go whenever you can too, like you was talking about. And we do have cops at those lights. You know, they direct traffic and stuff. And I'm genuinely amazed though when at our capital city, I believe, because it's the most developed city. There's traffic light that works. There are people that actually stay in the lanes. They don't make a 2-lane road 5. So instead of like 2 cars, you have 5 cars in that 2-lane road, and they keep it 2-lane, and then they follow the lights. They actually do. I don't know if I think they stop at red lights. They don't go even if a cop's not there. I don't like going to the capital because it's so traffic. Obviously, it's the capital, the most densely populated area. But yeah. Anyways.
No, let's make this into a great nation. Why not? We are supposed to be the youngest nation on the planet. Nearly 52 or 53% of the population is below 30 years of age, with so much energy, with such young people, which no nation has. Can't we transform this nation in the next 5 to 10 years?
I will say this with that though, is that yeah, sure, you have young people, but young people all over the world are dumb. I'm not saying all young people are dumb, but you have to develop a certain amount of wisdom. It's great that young people get involved into this thing so they can develop their wisdom, they can learn. And I'm sure Sadhguru would agree with this one, is the fact there's a lot of hope and like, well, he did say energy, a lot of hope and energy in young people. They're unrestricted in terms of what they want to do. But I think when you get into like government positions, it kind of strips you away of that hope and dreams that you have, because you come to realize that there's just so much red tape, so much restriction to what you originally felt as freedom and being able to express what you need and want to the country, what you want to do to your country, and all of a sudden you see all this red tape, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't do anything. But again, a mixture. Now, I say in the United States, I feel like 30-year-olds are still children. They're just dumb still. But I don't know what percentage of the population is that. It's really strange. I feel like adults are still babies, even at an older age. You know, you're 18, you're still immature. Up to 26, you're still kind of getting out of the phase. But 26, you should be about adult. You should have enough responsibilities. I feel like now it's still going to like 35, where people are still dumb and don't know how responsibilities or anything like that. I don't know if that's true in India or not. That's the reason why I say they might still be dumb in some degrees. But I see so many things between America and India are so similar. Mind you, these are developed areas. So, and I'm wondering if just the developed areas just kind of has this thing about it where people become entitled and arrogant and selfish. I see it over here. Whenever I watch certain videos and I read some of the comments, it's just so similar. It's really kind of crazy. But anyways, yes, there is some greatness to youth. They're very optimistic, but they lack wisdom just because wisdom comes with age. There's no denying that. So, a mixture between old and young for sure.
You want to clean Chennai?
Yes, Sadhguru.
I'll
Not
tell
just
you.
to clean Chennai, the whole of the state and the country.
Start local. Get volunteers to do it, like Sadhguru does with his organization. If you do local, you can hire people. If you can find out again the budget, your city's financial budget, maybe you can do something like that.
I'll tell you a story.
Uh-oh.
About 2 years ago, Sujata is here. 2 years ago, they declared Mysore city as the cleanest city in the country. Then people called me from Mysore and said, Sadhguru, 37 years ago you started Clean India project in Mysore, which went on for over 2.5, 3 years. Since then many things happened. At last it's worked after 35, 36 years, okay? So when we want something, this is how it is. When we want something big, this is how it is. It's not going to happen day after tomorrow. If we are committed, why will it not happen? It will happen. It can be done. You tell me your Anna University, how many people are there? How many students?
About 10,000 including…
10,000?
Including all the campuses.
Okay. You give me 5,000 people. You know what? 5,000 people just for 25 Sundays in a year. I will make Chennai clean for you.
But I have a reply to that, and I'm wondering, again, I think about America too. It's like, yeah, a lot of Americans will complain, no problem. They'll say they need this, need this, need this, but you ask them to do it, it's like, no, someone else, the government has to do that because it's the government's job. Not my job. the government's job. The government's supposed to do that, not mine. My job is to complain. Government's supposed to fix it. And that's kind of the thing. It's kind of a mix of both. Obviously, you want to do your part. Okay, so don't, sure, okay, the government will initially clean it, but it's also your responsibility not to mess it up. I'll say that at the very least.
But getting that 25 Sundays from 5,000 people, you will see how much trouble.
Oh, yep, there it goes. He said it.
Really?
How many people actually…
You and me start off with the broom, they'll go to the cinema Sunday afternoon. This is the problem with the country. We need to change this. This is what my whole work is, to produce those committed people. When they stand up for something, they will stand up for life and make things happen. We need to build such people in this country.
Sadhguru…
Oops. Yeah, he's right. And out of those 5,000 people, maybe 500 show up. Maybe you overshoot your goal that way. You have enough. Your real goal may be only 1,000, and you shoot for 10,000. And maybe you are left at only 1,000 who said they want to do it. It's kind of interesting. Even where I live here in the States, there are certain groups they have volunteer. It's like doing certain things on certain coasts and stuff, and there are people who volunteer. They'll go out and do it. So there are people willing to do it for sure, but it's just, do you have enough and are in the right location?
Life and make things happen. We need to build such people in this country.
Sadhguru, adding to this, so the whole thing, I think I'm perceiving it as it's our responsibility. So the word responsibility, I think it's not yet instilled in our minds. So how to make everyone how to make everyone learn that we are responsible for our nation, we are responsible for our actions and whatever we are doing.
How to get into people's minds that this is your country. That's essentially what you're saying. Because if it's your country, if it's yours, you take responsibility for what is yours. That's an interesting one, because any country, honestly, like even America right now, I feel like a lot of people don't see this as their country, or they hate America because of things done in the past, and because they don't get their way, so they complain. It's like, this is not my country because things that are done way in the past that we can't change now, that we made things better now, but still the things that are done in the past, is terrible. It's like, yeah, we can acknowledge the past and try to make the future better by doing things in the present. How do you get people to love your country? Is essentially what I think she's trying to ask, because if you love your country and you see this country as your country, everyone sees it as their country, then they'll work together to make it better. Honestly, I have no idea. Patriotism is the way to go for that. Obviously, you don't want to go extreme patriotism, but you can hopefully discuss to people, at least in terms of America, because I watch some videos where you tell them the history of America, you tell them the realities, all the good and all the bad. And the people have to understand that no country in the world has always done things good. There's always something bad, but we can acknowledge that and grow from that. To ignore the fact that your country's done something bad is the worst thing you can do, because if somebody finds it out, then all of a sudden your country's a liar. So we have to acknowledge all the good and all the bad. But we have to realize that I think most countries, well, except for a few of them, I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. But anyways, but we have worked, we have become better. Most of the countries in the world has become better from what they were, and are still striving to be better. And if people can get that in their heads, like, hey, look, we can't strive to be better if we're against each other. We have to unite to do that. I don't know if that speech is going to work, but that's the best I can really do, honestly. And I'm kind of curious of what Sadhguru would say, because how do you get people who just hate their country because of things that the modern day people have not done, and to think that because there's a few bad people in the country, all of a sudden it's still the same country as was in the past? Like, those people are dumb, because a small group of people do bad, everyone's bad. What was done in the past, people in the present are bad. The logic is not there.
See, this is very fundamental. If we do not understand this one thing, then we are messed up. One reason why we are messed up is because one thing is, there are political activists who are always telling you somebody else, the chief minister, the prime minister, some other bureaucrat, these people are responsible. And there are nice, pious, religious people, they all think God is responsible. Both these people are unfixable. Essentially, the movement that we call as inner engineering is essentially about moving the world from religion to responsibility. From looking up to looking inward, that if human beings do not explore the full depth and dimension of their potential, then human societies will not rise. This is a culture, this is a nation which has produced phenomenal human beings in the past, incredible human beings, geniuses, not one or two, in hundreds. But today, we are struggling for various reasons. One fundamental thing is, we've been an occupied nation for too long, we become subservient, we don't see that this is our country, we're responsible for this, we still think we can blame somebody. There's nobody to blame. It's our nation. There are no English people. If the English people were here, we could have said it's because of these people. They are gone. If we make a mess out of it, it's ours. If you make a fortune out of it, it's ours.
Sadhguru, people who are different in society, who take the road not taken, they are berated by society and hated. They are not accepted by the normal people. These people end up achieving in their lives, but they have to face a lot of problems along the way. Do we need a change at a societal level or an individual's level?
Well, I have to rewind that. Well, just that I didn't quite.
And hated. They are not who take. Sadhguru, people who are different in society, who take the road not taken, they are berated by society and hated. They are not accepted by the normal people. These people end up achieving in their lives, but they have to face a lot of problems along the way. Do we need a change at a societal level or an individual's level?
That's okay. I can see that as two ways. Something that's very unique to India, or at least not something I've experienced, or something that let me say not experience, but experience in terms. When I say experience, observed. How about that one? Okay, that I've observed, or something unique to India. I'm not sure what he means there, because obviously I don't know everything about India. But in terms of like the road less taken, this is how I would understand it from this perspective. So there are certain things where like certain cultures, even in America, especially Asian cultures, specifically probably Chinese and Japanese. I don't know about South Korea, where they come over here and they want, actually even probably Indian people. Anyways, where they come over here and they want their child to become a doctor, but they end up sometimes not being a doctor, and their parents will tell them, it's like, no, you have to be a doctor, be a doctor, be a doctor, and it's not something that they want, that the child want. And in America, no one's going to tell you you can or cannot do anything outside the family, but internally, in terms of family, there are expectations, kind of. You know, the parents want you to get a good job, obviously. And they worry. There are some parents that are just kind of loose. You know, it's like, you know, get a good job, something that will make you money, essentially guaranteed money. But it's a very, sometimes it may be low earning, but it's a guaranteed job. Then you have the parents with higher expectations. Not Asian level yet, but they want you to just like, oh, become like a lawyer, engineer, or something really high level, and they really want to push you towards it, more so than the one previously. Then you have the Asian level where somewhat, where they really they beg their kids. Like I remember watching this one video on YouTube. It was an Asian person. I don't know what his nationality, but the mom was like begging her son to become a doctor. It says, hey, look, just come back home, I'll give you the house, just be a doctor, you know, just trying to find a way to bribe him into becoming a doctor. He's a stand-up comedian. And then all of a sudden he said that, yeah, once he saw the money coming in, they didn't complain anymore. So, and I get it. But I think what he's asking here is something a bit different. Because again, this is not necessarily something that I see in America, where people are, I don't know if he means the people, their family is very general. Like most people don't care what you do. It's up to you. It's your life. Your family is going to care more, obviously, but most of them say so long as you're happy. Then you have the upper level one says you want to get a good job because you don't want to struggle. You don't want to be a burden on people. Then you have the extreme level ones where it's like they want you to demand you. Some of them demand so much that I'll cut you off from finances if you don't, you know, get into surgery or medical field or you know, engineering and stuff like that. Some are very serious like that. And it's not very many, but because, you know, again, this is from a TV show, but I wouldn't doubt it to be true, where it says, I'll pay for everything for you as long as you go to this career. If you change your mind, I'm cutting you off. You have no money and you have to earn your own money to pay for your own college. So I don't think he means that, but let's see.
See, if you're different, if you think you're different, I look very different from all of you. If you think you're different, first thing you need to understand is,
forgot to answer the question.
You learn to respect other people. They are different from you. But you think they're all bunch of idiots and only you are brilliant. Now they will trouble you, for sure, and they should. Hello? The moment you're a little different, you think you are the only brilliant guy here and everybody else is an idiot. So you think they will let it pass? They will make sure you pay the price, and you should. So I'm saying, especially if you think you're different, it's very important you learn to respect everybody else for what they are and learn some humility. Already you're a freak. When you're a freak, you must be a little, See, that's why I'm always
Oh. That was it's really weird. He made it seem like the person who is being different should have respect for other people. Me personally, I think respect goes all ways. Show me respect, I'll show you respect. I will show everyone initially a certain level of respect. I think that's okay. Respect is earned, but I think there should be a certain level of respect that must be given first as well. A certain level of kindness, a certain level of generosity. Well, maybe not generosity, but a certain level of kindness, a certain level of respect needs to be given initially. And from there, they choose how they want that respect to go. But if you are different and you believe in... I have a feeling what he's saying, there's something deeper to it. I can have a guess. It goes about with the caste system, I'm thinking, where if you, I don't know how bad the caste system is in certain areas of India. I know I've spoken about this before, and I heard it's gone away, which is fantastic. But there may be certain areas that it still might have a strong foothold in, and maybe that's what he's talking about. Where, if you're of a certain caste, you can only work a certain job. But if you want to do better for yourself, everyone will shun you. And I'm wondering if that's what he's asking. I say screw everyone else then, you know what? If you want to go for something, go for it. But yes, maybe this is American spirit. No, that's not an American spirit. That's just people. Everyone has this drive, but obviously if you're an American, you're going to say that's an American spirit. But yeah, everyone has this drive to always want to do better. And it's our peers, and I guess you could say our peers and even other people who will push us down, but don't let them do that. If you can, put it this way, you have a lot of burden on yourself to prove them wrong. And if you fail, you just prove them right. But don't give up. If you think you can do it and you really wanted to do it, if you have the willpower to do it, I think you can do it. I'm not saying you're guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in this life. But if you really want to do it, do it. I say go for it. Screw what people think. If they're like, this is something I go along the lines with friends too. If they're genuinely your friends, they won't leave you because of a small mistake or because of something. How to say, something small, minute, inconvenient. If they're your friend, they'll stick with you. It's like if you want to do something, they'll hopefully encourage you to do the right things. Not because you want to jump off a cliff into a pond. It's like, no, don't encourage them to do that. That's dangerous. But, encourage them to do good things. But again, I'll look into America as a great example. There are people who will call you their friends, but all of a sudden, whenever you do one thing that's not, how do I say, acceptable, socially acceptable, they'll leave you because they don't want to be associated with even a single mistake. I'm not personally, I've never personally had that happen to me, but with the rich people or the bougie people or the people who, I don't know, who I don't know how to describe them because I don't know that life. Like maybe buy a whole bunch of stuff, has a lot of money. I think those people, yeah, those people, yeah, they want to have their reputation clean. They don't want to be associated with filth or people who don't conform to societal norms. Screw those people. But yes, if it is. And I guess the change will have to happen through society. Society has to change. If it's about I guess no matter what, whether it's a caste system or not, even if it's just society itself saying, "Oh, because you're poor, you don't belong and you don't want to go to these jobs. You shouldn't go for those jobs. You just stick with what you know or where you're at." Screw those people. Society will have to change for that in particular. And the way to make that change is by you proving them wrong, by saying that I can do this and I did do this. And it's going to take a lot of people over generations to make that change. Young people, like he's talking about, Sadhguru was talking about governmental change, about the young people. Yes, it's going to be the young people that will be taking over and making those change. But it's going to take generation after generation for those change to happen. Like you're saying, nothing happens overnight, and it's going to take a while for it to change, and even slower because of the government. But to some degree, I get why it has to be slow. You can't change too fast, because then if something messes up somewhere, where did it mess up? Everything was changing so fast, you don't know what to adjust. So it sucks that it's slow, but I can understand some reasons why it is. So much like that person who wants to do something that is not supposed to or is not socially accepted. He's the first people who makes great changes in life. Martin Luther King and all these other great people were doing exactly what they're not supposed to do to make those change. It's going to be tough, but if you can do it, you can prove people wrong. And you can give hope to younger generations to say, I can do that too. That's why I like to see inspirational people be really, really good. What do I mean by that? Martin Luther King did an amazing thing. He gave up his life for what he believed. But I've heard that maybe he wasn't too good with his wife. I don't know the whole story or anything. It could be false, but I just heard that. I wish people who done great things in their lives are pristine and have not done anything bad. But we can acknowledge the fact that they're human beings. No one is perfect. But we got to look to the greatness that they've done and the changes that they've made in society. So, to that person, I'll say, if you genuinely believe and want to make that change, I say go for it. Screw what other people think. If they're in a negative saying that you shouldn't do that, no. Now, be reasonable about what you're trying to achieve, because it can be very difficult, and maybe some people have. But at the same time, if you think you can do it, I say go for it. Just be mindful of a risk. High risk, high reward, as they say. But there's a very high chance of failure. I said a lot. Anyways, that's the end of part 2 of this. If you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.